Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to today's Rowdy.com Big Three, where we talk NASCAR racing, Buzz Cutler, Bassmasters, and you, sir, have the issues today. And obviously a big announcement yesterday by NASCAR, changes to the schedule.
Huge announcement.
Massive.
Big, massive announcement.
Mega.
An announcement
Ultra.
could not be any bigger than this announcement was. And what we found out, and this was huge news, was that not a lot is going to change.
You know, it's, I think, one of these things where we already knew what the big changes were, so it was sort of underwhelming, the announcement. But let's break it down a little bit. We've got, obviously, Atlanta loses a race, Kentucky gets a race.
So that's downforce for downforce.
Right. Chicagoland is going to move into the chase.
Woohoo.
California loses a race, and Kansas gets a second race.
So wait a minute, that would be downforce for downforce.
Same number of downforce races in the chase.
Wait a minute. Phoenix is moving to the second spot.
Phoenix is moving to second,
huh?
and Texas is going to be a night race. The Spring Texas race will be a night race. Ultimately, I think for the race fan, unless you go to one of these tracks where there's been a change, I don't feel like there's a lot of radical changes. A big change in the dynamic of the schedule, a big change in the dynamic of the chase, which I was hoping for. Now, I realize, Cutler, that to make schedule changes is very, very challenging. It's very difficult, but there were some big ideas out there.
But
ending the chase at Daytona was a big idea. Having a different chase every year with a different feel, you know, short track, road course, would have been a cool thing. I know these are really hard to make happen, so I don't want to say that NASCAR should have done it and they screwed up.
One of the reasons they're hard to make happen, Bass,
is because they're good.
Is because of the incestuous nature of NASCAR. Is because the track promoter is intimately connected to the sanctioning body. And there is an inherent conflict of interest there. And as long as that conflict is present, big changes like the ones you're talking about and like the ones we'd like to see are going to be less likely to happen.
Even if you didn't change the mix of tracks, there were some big changes at and the season at Daytona. Massive change
so what
to
you're
the dynamic.
saying is NASCAR dropped the ball. They missed an opportunity.
They missed an opportunity.
All right. Well,
issue number two.
Let's move on to issue number two. The Joey Logano, Ryan Newman tete-a-tete.
Yeah, I was worried we were only going to talk about that once.
Well, you knew better than that. That's at least a 2, maybe 3 day story.
It's got to be.
Ryan Newman talked to our friends over at frontstretch.com yesterday, and there's some quotes that I think it might be interesting to share. Quote number 1, 4 races to go before a chase, and we're trying to break ourselves back into that top 12. He, meaning Joey, is not smart enough to understand this position. Ryan basically saying, you want me to take it easy now when I'm trying to get into the chase? Not going to happen. The other thing he says is the racetrack at Michigan is different than when you race on Darlington, where you have to give and take.
Certainly, there's a lot more room at Michigan than there is at Darlington. No one's going to dispute that. I think the basic point I would like to make, though, is everyone's got this romantic notion. I just race hard every lap, and wherever things turn out, man, that's just where I'll finish. That's malarkey, man. Sometimes you have to make a short-term choice that is negative in the short term but benefits you in the long term. If you race a guy hard who's faster than you, for example, you slow both of you down, you lose time to the leaders. Not only that, you lose time to the guys behind you. Maybe you get caught by more guys before you have a chance to come in and fix your race car.
Bass, look. 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals 10, but also 5 plus 5 equals 10. If 5 plus 5 equals 10, if getting to the front and racing hard and being at the head of the field, doesn't it make sense that that would then put you in that position when the checkered flag flies?
I contend to you, Cutler, that being in the best position you can on lap 41 and being in the best position you can on lap 42 and being in the best position you can on lap 43, if that's the way you manage the race, you are doing yourself a disservice. You want to be in the best position you can on lap 200 when they pay the points and when they pay the money. And maybe, you know, Ryan Newman wants to say, this guy's a lousy race car driver. Okay, then you better take that into account when you get down close to him, because you may end up 23rd.
So you're
and your chase chances may be ruined.
You're siding
Be smart.
with Joey Logano, who has won.
I'm not siding with Joey Logano.
I'm siding with the Daytona 500 winner, Ryan Newman.
I'm siding with the fact that you got to race smart, and being in the best position you can on lap 42 isn't always racing smart.
All right, let's move on to issue number 3. I hate to give Buck Fever credit, especially when he's not even here. Or maybe it's better to give it to him when he's not here so he won't gloat about it.
Yes.
But Buck Fever has always maintained that this cockamamie idea of his Wednesday night racing in America would save the face of NASCAR as we know it. Well, last night we had a Wednesday night truck race at Bristol. Maybe Buck Fever was on to something early.
I think Wednesday night racing in America is cool, but I really think the big idea here is compressing the NASCAR schedule so that we don't go from February all the way through November, so we don't compete as much with football. And I think the big idea there is take the Cup Series and take some of those races and put them Wednesday night and shorten the schedule by 2-3 weeks. Wouldn't that be cool? Have a short track double, Richmond-Bristol or Bristol-Martinsville or Richmond-Martinsville right there in the middle of the summer with one of those races on a Wednesday night. That's a good idea.
I have a slightly different take, though I like your idea. My take is maybe this is a way to give a series like the Truck Series.
Are you still trying to save the Truck Series?
Its own identity
Come
and
on.
its own meaning. Look, for race fans, if you can watch a Truck Series race on Wednesday night, aren't you more likely to do that than to turn into it as your third race that you're watching on the weekend? Maybe moving something like the Truck Series to Wednesday night and making that its home will throw more eyeballs in its direction.
It's possible, but I think the big idea is Cup Series races on Wednesday night. That's a big time event.
You're just one of these NASCAR fans who thinks NASCAR means cup racing.
I'm just trying to be realistic. I mean, you can put the CFL on Wednesday night too. But I mean, whatever.
How about Arena League football?
Exactly.
I would watch,
whatever.
I would watch that on Wednesday night.
Yeah, whatever.
As
All
opposed
right.
to Law and Order SVG or whatever the hell it is.
I would say goodbye for today's Rowdy.com Big Three. For Buzz Cutler, I'm Bassmasters. Join us at Rowdy.com. We got some big new things coming here.
We
just
keep saying
around
it.
the
I know
corner.
we keep saying they're
just
coming.
Just around the corner.
Just like Eli. But believe me, they are coming, and you will be pretty excited when they finally get here.
Oh, yeah.
Rowdy.com. Say it like it is.
Say what like it is?
Rowdy.com.